Hello guys and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be going over the effect on US dollar after the news of Biden being elected for the 46th US presidential election.
I ain't no trapper or banger, I'm trapped in the hood and I make these bangers. Same time I ain't no average rapper, stack and invest in the things that matter.
Now before we go over the long-term effects on the US, quickly as you can see I have the Euro US dollar chart up. And we're going to go over the short-term effects and what happened to the Euro USD. So what you're seeing on the chart right now is typically what happened to most pairs across the US dollar board. Most major pairs reacted in the same way. In fact, pretty much all USD major pairs reacted the same way. So as we obviously know, the uncertainty has gone. And therefore, because the US was playing a safe haven currency, once there is no more uncertainty in this direction, there is more bullish momentum in riskier assets. And so investors are more likely to pull out the invested money in the US and put it into riskier assets such as the euro, the Australian dollar, the New Zealand dollar, GBP, etc, etc. And as you can see clearly on this chart, it replicated that. So during the run up to presidential election, we saw a strong US dollar going all the way down, and then it also made a V shape because of the election news that Biden had basically won. Obviously, it hasn't been announced that Biden is the president yet. There's a lot of speculation on whether they're fake voters. Donald Trump is asking for a recount or something along those lines. So it's not announced that Biden has officially won yet, but the market is reacting to the factor that basically we think Biden has won, and therefore the risk has now been applied, and there's not uncertainty in the market, and that's the reason why we saw a bullish run in the euro and most pairs going stronger against the US dollar. One of the biggest factors coming to the nearer term, in fact, is that the improved stimulus bill of the Democrat Party will come into place. And I think this is going to happen around the 20th of January if things stay the same as current. Obviously, Donald Trump isn't reacting too well to the loss of presidency. And so I think the 20th of January is basically when it's officially going to be called that Biden is president. And so that will be around the time when the stimulus package is put into place, which is around $2.2 trillion. Now, obviously, the more dollars there are, in this case, there will be 2.2 trillion more, which is a large amount. The weaker USD gets. And in this case, we may see a very weak US dollar. And that's because President Trump actually offered a 1.8 trillion stimulus package that got rejected, and to think that the US needs more stimulus in the amount of US dollars is actually quite terrifying for the US economy. And so the bearish momentum on the USD may be detrimental, and we may see a very large bullish momentum against the US dollar. So basically what that means is around January we're probably going to see a large bullish run in the Euro USD, and we could see quite a large increase to the upper side of this chart. Currently we have another factor is that Biden is promoting a clean energy US, and that is going to affect the US economy. As we know, the US is a huge beneficial importer as well as exporter of raw materials. And so if the US stop using raw materials, the economy profit is going to go down because they're going to be exporting less if they do decide to halt all raw material gatherings basically. But Biden could also play this into effect of a positive US dollar. If they do stop using raw materials themselves, they could potentially export more raw materials. So it's more of a hand in hand on what Biden wants to do. However, I think overall, because it's a transfer into clean energy, it's going to be more of a negative effect, because US has been using raw materials for the whole period of time that they've basically ever existed, and so that sort of change is probably going to have a negative effect in the markets. That is what I'm predicting. It's obviously not it's not concrete evidence. There's no concrete evidence to back that up, but we'll see that come into effect when it actually happens, when Biden starts introducing clean energy and what's his plans for raw materials. Now, something specifically applying to the Euro USD chart, the Euro is actually going to have a huge relief, and it's going to be very positive for the Euro, typically because we'll see Biden remove the tariffs Donald Trump put in place, and therefore we're going to see a lot more trading going on between the Europe countries and US, and so that is good for the Euro because more exports will be going out to the US, and the Euro will be benefiting on that because they're selling stuff to the US, obviously for money, which is obviously profit for the Euro. Now, obviously, that is not all the points. I think that's the most important point specifically for the Euro USD chart, as well as the most important points in the near future for the US dollar. As we go on, we're going to see more of a direction Biden's going to be taken, and obviously I'll update you on everything that has to be said, but other than that, that is pretty much it for this video. It's quite straightforward. Remember, fundamentals don't have to be overcomplicated, they're pretty simple. But guys, if you did find this video helpful and you did learn something, please hit that like button, and if you want to stay around for more content like this, then don't forget to subscribe. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next video.